Assalamu alaikum and good morning, and welcome to Sakoon's Mindful Muslim podcast. Our aim is to empower people to live better lives, physically, mentally, and spiritually. I'm your host, Ayesha Aslam, and today we're tackling a topic that many of us think about: fitness and mental health. Does staying fit actually help our mental well-being? How does it align with our Islamic principles? And what should we be doing to take care of both mind and body? Joining us today is Jerome Kumedzina, but most people call him Jay, and karate students call him Sensei, which means teacher. He is the founder of Fitness Meets Lifestyle Limited. He is a 5th degree black belt and currently serves as the chief instructor at Karate Meets Lifestyle Karate Club. He's passionate about health, fitness, karate, and incorporates all these into his lifestyle. My son and I have had the privilege of being taught by Jay, and I can honestly say it has made a positive difference in our lives. Jay, thank you for joining us.
And good morning. I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. And I'm sure the audience will be looking forward to hearing about your experiences. It's like such a wealthy background that you have.
It's been a long time. I think now it's around, I've been karate for about 35, 36 years now, at all levels of karate, from beginning stage at 13 to national stage, internationally, and then now going into the coaching side, which is probably where I find the most pleasure, trying to get to understand how karate can benefit them in so many different ways.
Amazing. So such a journey that you've gone through from the beginning up to where you are now. And I'm just thinking, do you think fitness truly helps mental health? And if so, in what ways?
Absolutely. I think that the way that you can release some of your inner thoughts through physical activity, especially through karate, where you're looking at trying to build a new skill while also working on focus, determination, and discipline. When you're stressed, it's very hard to think. It's very hard to see past the stress or the pain that you're going through at that time. Similarly, when you're going through learning processes where you are struggling to get your knee round to a position where it needs to be to make the kata or the stance look correct, or trying to get some stability in your stances. Those kind of things are all natural stresses that with practice, with focus, with joy, and that's the main thing. I always say to the kids, don't get to a place where you're trying to do what you want to do with anger or stress or pulling against the energy that you want to use in training. Energy is massive. The energy of positivity, allowing yourself to get it wrong, to get it right, understanding that it's about progress, not perfection. They're the kind of things I live by. You know, that you recognise that the small changes, the small additions to what you've done last time is what counts. It's start thinking that you have to do it all in one go. And I think when we think about the stresses of life, a lot of the time it's around us wanting to fix everything in one go.
Yeah.
With this journey, you get to a place where you understand that it is a journey. You are doing those small steps to get to the end destination. And I feel that learning a skill like karate, and even health and fitness, you know, we underestimate the effort it needs to do some of the stuff that we've done as a child. You know, you do roly-poly as children. Try and do it now. You know, it feels completely alien and completely sometimes impossible.
Yeah.
However, if you start small steps, so that might be just you bend on your knees and then tuck your head into your knees, and then someone pushing you round and you fall flat on your back and have a little bit of a giggle. That's the joy of learning and discovering things are possible. So I do think that there is a a fun but serious link to health and mental well-being as well.
And it was nice how you said how it's small steps. It's almost like a skill, because we live in a society where people want instant gratification. They just want things to be done just like that. And from what I'm hearing, it is a journey. It's a life skill, not just in karate or in fitness, but it can be a skill that we can use in all different aspects of our life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We always fear the unknown. So when you are stressed or we have anxieties, there's a fear there that you can't do it. And when you come into a dojo, you come into a fitness environment, and you look around and see people doing things at a mastery level, and you think, I can never get there. But every black belt, every gymnast, every sprinter was a beginner that didn't give up. So it's a case of, if you understand that with a little bit more faith in the fact that by trying, by giving it your best, by following the process, there is a light at the end of that stressful moment.
Yeah, I can hear that sense of repetition, that sense of discipline, that sense of mental mindset is also really important, as well as the physical side of karate or fitness. So they sort of go hand in hand. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what level, the moment you decide to do something, it becomes a target to reach. Even if I want to be able to get my first karate belt, so from your beginner belt to your first white belt, you have to understand, it looks like, oh, they're only kicking, they're only punching, but you try it and you realise, and we've been there together, understanding that it is around allowing yourself to be free. So remove the fact that you may not get right the first time, and you have to do it a few times to get the confidence up.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
You get there with perseverance, repetition, dedication, and also just allowing yourself to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
And I think that's something you just mentioned now around instant gratification. You're not enjoying the moment. You're trying to get something that isn't ready to come to you because you're having steps to get there. So we are looking at, with karate that we do, we're looking at the fact that I believe that anyone with the right mindset, with the right openness to development, can reach the target that they want to reach to. We work together. We try and make sure that it's a family orientated movement. So when I say that, it's around, I will fight for you, you'll fight for me, I'll support you, you'll support me. If it goes wrong, I've got someone to lean on. I've got someone I can find in that, look, I find this difficult. And you will hold the ladder for the next person. So everyone is feeding that energy, development and growth, and trying to get to that destination.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you've created a lovely community, Jay, and there's definitely a sense of feeling that you can lean on you as a teacher. If there's any struggles, that you're there to motivate your students as well. So and I feel that that's really important, because there's times where you might feel, oh gosh, this is too much, or I don't know how to do this, and just that guideline, and what you were also talking about, having a goal, like a vision goal. I want to get to a certain belt, or I want to be able to complete a particular way of how to fight, and to know the process of that. So recognizing it's not going to be easy, but we can have difficult moments, but we can also have some fun moments as well, and that you've got each other's back. I think that's quite a nice way of thinking about it.
And you know what? The thing around all of this is what my students or my clients get from me, I get an abundance back. The thought of seeing them come in and say they can't do I can't. And then it's saying, can I try this? Can I try that? I sit there I may not always show it because I do like to let them know that you need to do your work. However, there was a massive smile inside, just knowing that, you know what, you came in so doubtful within yourself, and now you're turning into someone that's hopeful about what potential is within yourself. And that for me is just everything, it's everything. And I see that from being a karate instructor to fitness coach to a father, to a husband. You see all those moments where you feel really empowered to keep that movement going. What's next? What's next? I like to keep busy.
It's like a transformation, isn't it? And you can see the difference it's making. So it's definitely something beneficial. It's definitely something that's going to help others. And I guess it's connecting me with my counselling. When I work with clients, they're in a very difficult place, and then it's just beautiful to see that process of change. And I guess that's what I'm connecting with yourself.
Yeah, I do. I feel it. I really do. And I think that everyone in life needs a purpose and the reason why. And supporting, developing, creating that community is my purpose, and I enjoy it. I really do. I might look at sometimes, but I don't feel tired at all.
That's beautiful, beautiful motivations, beautiful intentions. And I'm just thinking about, from an Islamic perspective, in Islam, we believe that our body is an amana. An amana means trust that's been given to us by God, by Allah. How would you say that resonates with your approach to fitness?
I always explain to my clients that this is borrowed. Your body, your being is borrowed. And like anything that you buy, you need to look after it. So when you give it back, it's in the best place it could be to give back. And also the energy that you use within that body is important. So if you spend the majority of your time thinking about, maybe not negative, but what could go wrong and what could go wrong, there's always that feel of, is your glass half full or half empty? It then kind of channels where you will end up going. If you use that kind of mindset, and similarly when I talk about progress, not perfection, you can use one or the other to either use that body in the right way or spend that time damaging yourself. And that's where you get things where people spend moments overindulging and not taking care of yourself. Then when you want to use it, your body can't give you what you want to do because you haven't looked after it. So it's really important that, I don't know if I'm making sense in what I'm saying, but the essence for me is that the body is a borrowed item, and you need to think of it that way so that you look after it. So when you're able to give it back, it's in a position of its best.
Absolutely. And I remember when we started as well, our sessions, we initially started off with stretches and making sure that the body was ready to be able to fight and to do what's needed. And again, it's what you feed your body, what you feed your soul, what you feed your mind is all going to have a huge difference in how we present ourselves, how we live our lives. So you're talking about positive thoughts and eating the right things, or sort of doing the certain stretches or exercises that will enable you to be able to do karate or to do fitness in different ways, however ways people do it. Just like if you do a marathon, there's lots of preps that you need to do in order to do that.
I think, absolutely. I think that there is a real need to express yourself in the right way, because the body, I feel, and the soul is attracted to what you give out. So if you have that negative, or the attitude isn't a motivation internally. Externally, you're going to be projecting something that is not what your body needs, and in turn, injuries take place. You get strains and niggles. You collide with someone that normally, if you'd done it positively, you would have done the target without hurting yourself whatsoever. You pull muscles, you straight, the list goes on. And also, you find that the energy also comes out in your words, where I can't, I won't, that's impossible, this isn't right. All these things that will influence what you can or can't do with this body of yours and this mind of yours that's the attitude. The attitude to say, you know what, we are on this journey, we are able to do, we will try, we will give, and giving 100% is a minimum in any situation. You give 100%, you try the best you can. You've got this body, give it everything that your body can give you. Same with how you sleep, how you eat, how you meditate, how you replenish. Everything that you do has to feel like you're doing good for yourself. Without that, you're kind of giving yourself a blocker to what you could achieve in mind.
But I can really hear the connection between mind of a mood, and that has an impact on how you then behave, how you physically present yourself in karate or in fitness. So it all goes hand in hand. But I'd be really interested, Jay, to hear about your journey. I'm eager to hear what inspired you to do martial arts and what kept you going all these years.
I think so. I started really late compared to some of the children I teach right now. I started at 13, and I was inspired by my brother at the time, younger brother.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and this isn't always how it works. So my younger brother was doing karate, I was doing judo, and I went to judo tournament, and I won the tournament, and I won this little tiny medal. And my brother came back from a tournament on the same day and came third and won this massive trophy. So
wow.
I looked at the trophy, I looked at the medal, and I said, I'm starting karate. So that's how it started. So the following week, I went to karate, and I just fell in love with just the energy that came from training. Judo was really good, but for me, as my personal opinion, karate was just so engaging. You had a place full of children, so all your age group. We had great instructors that were able to find ways to, and I say it a lot when I train now, inspire you through challenge. So there will be things where no, you couldn't do that. Yeah, I could. No, I don't think you could. And then that sparked you to show them that you could. And then I got selected for England many years later, and the energy from high level competition was just electric. You'll go to some of these events and you'll see these young people, because I was 18 at the time, just doing things that I didn't know we were allowed to do in karate. And again, it gave me an opportunity to express myself in ways that maybe I didn't outside of the dojo. I think that the dojo allowed you to do things that you wouldn't necessarily do outside.
Could you give an example?
You don't show the emotion of disappointment outside as you would do in karate. You'll have fear, you'll have joy, you'll have internal tantrums. So you'll be upset with yourself, you have to sit to the side. But outside of the dojo, if someone upsets you, you couldn't necessarily express that straight away in the way that was natural. You'll have to do it so your peers wouldn't feel like you're a baby, or they would tease you afterwards, where in this environment, even if you weren't even hurt, you just lost, tears were natural. Breaking down was natural. Being able to hug your coach was natural. To get that comfort, initial comfort, was natural. Where outside of that arena, you wouldn't go, something's happened in the playground, you would run to your teacher or the adults for that kind of initial comfort. You'll just have to suck it up or not, where the case may be. So they're the kind of emotions that you're able to go up and down. And you also start to learn how to manage those emotions as well outside the dojo, because karate, especially sport karate, is controlled aggression. So you go at someone 100 miles an hour, but the delivery is skin touch. So no one can be hurt or injured through what you do at that point. So when you have a situation where someone upsets you, where you want to rage, you reflect on that moment, because you have to reflect very quickly in kumite. Disappointment comes quickly. You must get over it really quickly because the time runs. So you need to get over that initial upset, breathe, either respond in a way that puts your point forward, or you step away. Where I honestly feel that you get those skills from, especially competition is
It's quite pressurizing. Yeah.
But it is life changing at times. Even coming into the sport at an older age, you've already kind of built some of your characteristics at that point already. So changing them again is very challenging, but humbling at the same time, because you've never felt the emotion to let out a tear before, and when it happens, it's quite refreshing, if I'm honest, because then it's gone.
Yeah.
The stress at that moment, it's gone. It's finished, and you're there with your mates afterwards, laughing and supporting the next people going on. So that was what karate, when I started, took place, and I've always had the ability to hold the ladder for others. Even when I was competing, I was still coaching young people or the next generation come along. And as I finished, so I've done internationals all around over the world, and I found that there was so much growth in that. So as I've gone into a coaching role, as the years have gone on, I've done the same for my students. Get that experience really early, learn how to manage those emotions. Leave the country, go abroad, see how it feels. When your time comes and you've got those skills to be either part of the national team or above, you've got the grounding to be able to deal with those pressures, those emotions. But seeing yourself on TV afterwards is quite, you get the phone call, I saw you on TV. You're like, it's very, very humbling, and taking all that emotions on as well is, for a young person, it's really tough. It's really, really tough. Even now, my students say, oh, I saw you, I went on YouTube and I saw you, and you're like, over the years, you get used to people talking about you that way, but initially it's all just character building, understanding that this is a unique place to be. Who else is doing this? You know, you can look outside and, you know, you get 100 people walk by. Maybe none out of those hundreds have experienced the things that you were able to do in that karate environment. And I really do. And even now, with the coaching and seeing these young people develop, and they come in, they won't say a word to you, and then all of a sudden, a few years later, you can't get them to be quiet because they want to talk your ear off. But the confidence is grown now, and the challenge comes through, which is just, it's magical for me. So that was my journey, that's where I am at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely hear you're quite competitive when you heard about your brother getting the medal, but I can also hear how you had a different experience from judo to karate. And I guess it was quite nice to hear the warmthness around karate, that you can actually just be your normal, natural self. There was no rules around you have to hide your emotions or put it to one side. There was a space to support you through that. And I think that sounds like a really powerful and important concept in karate for you, and something that you have transferred into your coaching for your students. And regulating emotions, it was making me think, oh my gosh, maybe I could get my clients to come to karate to regulate emotions, or for children. I think that's an amazing concept. And that was one of the reasons I got my son into karate, is to help to regulate emotions, to also support him in secondary school, so to know that it's okay to know how to defend yourself as well, and discipline. I think one part for me as a parent for my son was I wanted mental discipline. How to regulate emotions was also a major part, as well as knowing how to fight. So it's really nice to hear how all these aspects are really important to you, and something that you deliver in your work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important to understand that once you know what to do, you don't necessarily need to do it anymore, because there's a sense of confidence that comes with being trained. If you think around where you fall under pressure, so say you're driving a car and the road becomes slippery, the first thing you do is revert back to your training. Spin the wheel, make sure your eyes are looking, that, okay, where was that instant by the rear mirror? Essentially, when you find that you are confronted with a situation, the first thing you do is revert back to your training, and where we look for, you are upset, but how you respond in that moment tells the character you are. Are you someone that understands that this is a moment in time and maybe it's an accident, so you respond to it in an accidental way, or is this a threat? I need to respond to it in a different way. So it's giving you those skills to recognise the way you respond to stress or to a situation is purely in your hands, and that takes a lot for young people. A lot for young people. There are a lot of things going on in here and in here in that moment, and when you see some of them being able to manage that in the way that they do, you don't realise how much it takes for them to do that. It's really something special. The students, and I can speak for mine, are very, very, they're amazing kids. They look and represent the club in a way that you could be really proud to say they are part of KML. But it takes a lot of effort, and they get it at home as well. There is that connection between what we do and what they do.
I do think it is a blessing that the children are able to utilize them skills to know how to regulate emotions, because I don't think there's enough of that. And I think that's so important, especially at an age where they're teenagers, or they're going to go through that phase and they just don't know how to manage certain emotions.
Yes.
So I do think that's a really powerful concept that you can apply in your work with students. And I can really hear how karate emphasizes on mental focus and resilience. And I was just wondering, do you think that mental discipline played a role in your success as a karate champion and for your students?
Absolutely. Having a structure and getting them to buy into that structure it's always going to be the first, or the baby steps. They always say that the success is the leadership. If the leadership has got that desire, that want, that need for it to be a particular way, and is prepared to go through the steps to get there, whoever's underneath them understands this is a minimum standard. They know here you look after each other. Here you work hard for each other. Here you hold the ladder up for each other.
Yeah.
You don't need it to be a place where you do not feel valued. Everyone comes here, and even when they decide it's not for them, their time here has been valued, and what they get from here and what they give is special. And you see where you get some of the events we go to where the children haven't done as well as they wanted to for the fact that they were nervous, it just wasn't their day, the person was better than them, whatever the situation. If you look over your shoulder at them afterwards, a whole of their crew are around them. They're supporting them, they're talking to them, they're cheering them back on, they're bringing that back together. And it is something that it's a muscle. It's when it comes to buildings, I want everyone to feel that that is their minimum standard, that you come in and recognise that this is your karate family. And you probably see the message that go out, the KML family. I honestly mean it. That's how it feels. That's how I grew up with karate. You had the mums that if your mum wasn't there, you'll turn around and they're the tissue to wipe your nose. You turn around, have you eaten? No. You should eat, all these things that allowed you to feel that you were part of this world or part of this family, and what I want for the club, and what I want for the students that be in. And that's what we try and foster.
And I guess that's one of the techniques that you use. I don't know if it's a technique, but you're creating that culture of support, a culture of belongingness. Yeah, and that sense of knowing that you're in a safe space, and that in itself brings so much for the students to feel that they can be able to do or say what they need to without feeling judged or ashamed. But are there any specific techniques that you could share with us that you apply for yourself or for your students? And I'm thinking about scenarios like how to stay calm under pressure, especially during competitions, or any other scenarios that you've mentioned.
You're an imposter, you shouldn't be here, you're not good enough. This is too much for you.
Yeah.
And I say this a lot to the students as well. I would sit down and go through all the things that I had done over the years. So, national champion, 5 times black belt champion, international this, whatever the successes were, you're still the same person. This was you, this is you, this is what you've done, this is what you're capable of doing. Remove the fact that what you can't, remember what you have done, what you're able to do. And then they gave me this tip where you visualise all the special moments that you've taken part in over the years. So the fact that you achieved your black belt, whatever the things are at the time, and just sit in the corner and just enjoy that moment. Enjoy how that felt. Who was there at the time? What did it smell like? What were you wearing? You decide to just embody that moment. And once you put your eyes up to go, most of the time, honestly, you were sweating. And you felt like you've just done a warm-up that you've just done, but the warm-up of the mind and the soul. And you've got up and you've done things that people still talk about now. And I remember the times I didn't do that and didn't perform well. And I didn't get that feeling of I gave everything because I was stuck in that moment of I'm not good enough. This doesn't feel right. This, the master said to me, the lighting's too bright. You start looking at all the things that could stop you from doing and being at your best. And in turn, I sit down and some of the students, I'm not going to do good today, Sensei. What aren't you going to do good today? This morning I didn't have my Nutella. Okay. And they start looking for those things, and I'll sit and say, did you go to that event last year? Yeah. Did you go to the event last month? Yeah. And these are people that have won gold, and they're still thinking that they're not good enough. So it's getting them to think about, and I did. And wasn't she in your? Yes. Wasn't he? Yeah. Okay. So do you know what? And all of a sudden, those kind of feelings, and again, they're quite young, so it's really hard for them to do that visualization the same way where they are smelling it, they're feeling it, they're tasting it, they're hearing those words of, oh, you're so great. You know, all those things that happen at that moment. It's very hard for them to really embody that right now. But they're the things that, with practice, like anything else, it'll be the reasons why they do as well as they do.
Really well. Yeah.
You'll see it with people line up in the Olympics. You see them talking to themselves. They're there visualizing those moments of getting over the line first, or saying to them, look, get that punch first. Imagine how that feels to get it first. Imagine you get that kick up there first, and they start smiling. So it feel good, doesn't it? It would feel good. Okay, well, go out there and do it. Go out there and have fun.
Yeah.
Put that smile on your face. Go and have fun.
I remember with me and the girls, if we said we weren't feeling well, it would be like, you're not having it. You're going to think something positive to keep us going, but nothing's going to stop us. So it's that positive mindset that really makes a powerful difference in your performance. And that's what I can hear. And that's where the visualization comes in, because it really brings that to the forefront. And that energy that you were talking about, that then comes into your performance. Because if you're thinking of negative thoughts, then you're going to end up becoming negative in your performance. But if you're thinking positive, then it will come out in positive ways.
As long as you're trying, as long as you're doing, you're removing the fear of trying. I think sometimes people spend a lot of time worried about what could happen, not what's actually happening right now. You haven't done anything to justify the argument. And it's gone wrong. Now you've got the argument to say, right, well, I told you so. But the likelihood is that because you're worried about, it'll happen in two ways. If you're worried about doing it and you're doing it goes wrong, it's because you've already self-sabotaged yourself for it to go wrong.
Yeah.
If it goes right, that same person will say, well, it's a fluke. So unless you change the mindset, the outcome, good or bad, will have the same feeling of a negative person, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think there's these two concepts. You're either worried about the fear of the future, or you're worried about something that's happened in the past, rather than being in the moment and just, and also believing in yourself. And I think it's, like you said, even if you did well, there's still an excuse that you but. And I think that's really important. Yeah, absolutely. But I guess this connects with a lot of people, and including myself, that many people want to start, but they struggle, and they're struggling to maintain consistency with fitness or mental health. What would your advice be, especially for busy people who have to try to balance work, family, other commitments, their faith, or even children who may have to study, but they just really struggle to keep that consistency going?
It is a challenge. It'll always be a challenge. I was talking to my wife about this because sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, sometimes you're having a conversation about how hard it was or how hard it is to get to that whatever exercise, your training, your routine, meal prepping. But when you sit down and we done this as an experiment, so she didn't know I was doing it, so I got told off afterwards. So I put a timer on, to which she started talking to me about about the time that you couldn't. You know exactly what I'm going to say, yeah. So you've already reached 7-8 minutes at that moment that you couldn't. That you were talking to me about the times and the things that you couldn't do. Sometimes it's trying to get to a position where you are just doing. So even if you're saying that you can't do regular training sessions for an hour, there is going to be times where you could have, while you were thinking about why you couldn't or you couldn't be doing it, standing up and down, that's a squat for you. Standing up, stepping forward, lunge, stepping back. That's a lunch for you. So where you can't, where you find it difficult to find the length of time that you want to do, what you would normally do,
Yeah.
just take action in the time that you do have, and that could be a bedtime routine. Before I go to bed, I will just do at the side of my bed 10 sit-ups, 10 press-ups. You do that for the week. You've done 70 or both. That's only 10 minutes. That's probably 4 or 5 minutes of your day.
Yeah.
Same again when you want to try and say, right, I can't get down to do my normal training regime. You either say to yourself that I'm going to just carve out 15 minutes out of my day, and I will, even if it's standing still, if you're doing a martial art and you want to be working your punches, I say today I'm going to be working on just 10 of these, and that's my 10. And then you find that you'll become a habit. You say, right, it's non-negotiable. I will do my X and my Y, because a lot of the time it's that we fall out of the habit.
Yeah.
So the team falls out, so that means nothing can happen. A lot of times we find that we make a bad afternoon into a bad week. We make a bad week into a bad month. We make a bad month into a bad 3 months. We made a bad 3 months into a bad 6 months. We made a bad 6 months into a year. And then before you know it, it's something that you definitely can't do because you've just put something else in that place. Yeah. I would suggest that try and do the smallest thing that creates the biggest splash. So if you say to yourself that you're going to do out of every day of the week, or Monday to Friday, non-negotiable, before I go to bed, I will do X. And then see where that takes you. And I guarantee you, you either go to bed earlier so you can do more, or you get fitter and you do it faster. Either way, you are increasing the level of activity that you're doing, but more importantly, you're giving yourself that de-stressing, that type of emotion of, I feel really guilty because I haven't been able to train. Now, you've removed that by saying that my training regime is 10 press-ups a month. My training regime is 10 sit-ups a month. My training regime is X. And then that, all of a sudden, that changes your mindset about what you can't do to what you can do. And sometimes, again, like we spoke earlier, it's just the wording. It's the wording of
the language we use.
Not how can I do it, and I can't do it. How can I do it? Not how I can't do it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think there's so much research as well on the power of positivity and affirmations. And like you said, just a small goal, just to say to yourself, okay, I will just do 5 sit-ups or 10 sit-ups and do that 5 days a week. Like you said, it equates to 70. So that's realistic. So it's giving yourself a goal that's realistic, it's achievable, and being okay if you can't do the normal regime, but you can still do something. And just find a way of integrating that into your routines, because we do have our lives, and it's not realistic to always be consistent because something can happen. You might get an injury, someone might not be well in the family. There might be a busy period with your children. There could be anything. So in these periods, it stops us from our routine. But there was something I did read up on, and I thought this was really powerful, and it really helped me because I thought, yes, this is so cool. But it was that once you start doing a workout, if you stop working out, you don't need, and when you restart the workout, you don't have to go back to square one, because your body and your muscles are already trained. I don't know the full ins and outs of the details, but it was just brilliant to know that, oh, brilliant. Okay, so I don't need to go back to square one. I just need to start where I'm at, but know that I don't need to do so much like I did at the beginning. Is that right? Would you agree?
You're right. The only thing is, they're getting back to training aches. So you don't need to start from square one, but you will find that oh, that ached a bit more than I've done it the first time. Just because your body's just saying, listen, you woke me up properly now, so let's get back to work. Yeah. I think the main thing is you need to be kind to yourself. And I think people aren't. We are kind enough to ourselves, where we say, if you had a friend that said, listen, I'm only getting to do 10 press-ups a night because I just can't get down, I've got family commitments on. Your first thing is, that's really good that you're actually getting those. But for ourselves, we'd be really guilty thinking, I'm not doing it, and really down on yourself. And that's where you end up doing nothing, because you get to a place where it's all or nothing, where just being able to say, I've consistently done X for the last 10 days or the last 2 days, and giving yourself a thumbs up for it, and knowing that, do you know what, that feels good, give myself a thumbs up. I'm going to do that for another 2 days. Okay, give myself 2 thumbs up. I'm going to do that. And before you know it, it becomes your habit of doing it. And same when it comes to meal planning or reducing your food to match your training. You have to say to yourself that, you know, thumbs up, I've actually had an apple today instead of having sweet. And that's where a cake or whatever it is, I had a slice of fruit. And knowing that, okay, it might have been once in the month, but it was once more than you did the month before.
I'm still at the stage of having an apple and chocolate. But I'll get there one day. I have my moments.
But you have the apple, that's your thing,
Absolutely. But I do also think it's because society very much promotes on focusing on the negative and not really focusing on the positive. And I think this is where it is really about changing that mindset. And in research, it says that you need about 7 positive comments to outweigh 1 negative comment. So it's quite powerful how much the negative comment or the self-critic can have on us, an impact on us, or if someone says something to us, how much that impacts us as well. But just like you said, it's really about training your mind, training yourself to be kinder, to not be cruel or be critical, but to really focus on the positives, and that will help you. Because some people do have this old mindset or a particular mindset of you've got to be cruel to be kind. But if I say something cruel, then it will motivate you to do something about it.
I don't buy it. I don't agree with it. I don't think that. I don't think anyone feels empowered in a negative space. I think that you find most people will do their best in that space outside, and probably do it again. You know, to that level where, you know, most great things happen in through fun and joy. If you enjoy yourself and you can feel the freedom in that, you will do some amazing stuff. You've seen things of that around. There's loads of examples around that around the world.
Absolutely.
Local area where you can see that people are doing some crazy, amazing stuff through the fact that they're enjoying themselves and they don't want to stop. You know, trying to throw the kids after training, they don't want to leave. You know, it's like, I need to be more horrible to them so they can go home. You know, but it's a joy to me because I know that they're doing things that they
like it,
and they love. And in turn, we've got some exceptionally talented students here. So,
I think that's really important that they look forward to it. It's not something they see as a chore, something they have to do. It's something they want to. Yeah. But there is sometimes, because I think the negative mindset, what can happen is it can lead to low self-esteem. It can lead to depression. It can lead to mental health concerns. And I think and what I'm learning from you today, Jay, is how important it is to create that positive and supportive environment for those who want to do karate, martial arts, or just in general to have a better well-being overall. I just wanted to mention just a few more questions, if that's okay. So in Islam, we often speak about this concept of sabr, which means patience, and istiqama, which means steadfast, and dua, which means supplication, so making prayers to God, and zikr, remembering God. Do you see any parallels between applying spirituality and faith and martial arts training?
Yeah, so at the beginning of any class and at the end, we do this called Caesar. You come in and there's a place to meditate, and the meditation is to prepare your mind and your body for what's going to take place. So you're coming out, travelled in, parents have dropped you here, there's been radio on, there's been loads of potential road rage, all the above. What we don't need and we don't want is for you to use that energy while you're training. So we will need you just to decompress, be in the moment. So when you come out of Caesar, you sensei race, giving your time to your sensei, you give your time to your peers. So this is now what you're ready to do. And also when we finish, you'll do the same thing. So you then appreciate what you've done today. You take that energy that gives you, and then you have it as a resting point. So you're not up with all the train now. You can calm back down, and you're ready to go to society, give them the best version of yourself. So we do use those kind of characteristics, those key behaviours, and karate is all around the spirit of energy, how you move energy around, how you take and give back. So we are needing to ensure that kind of mindset is prepared to do what needs to be done while you're training, and then also as you leave, take that with you.
Beautiful. So it's really good skills to instill. And I can imagine you can feel that energy.
Yeah, you do. I try and get them all to take the leadership on that as well, up until however old they are in the class, they go there. And it's important as well that they understand the importance of it, because as a young, it's very much giggly, but as soon as you get to that position where you're in the lead, you must show that leadership. You must make that group understand the importance of why we're doing this. And in turn, your session becomes better. You get that place becomes better. When you leave, there isn't the initial sprint into the door, what have you. There is that get up, bow, collect your stuff. Eventually it starts to warm back up again because they see their parents and it's like, yeah, we better get back out there and do what we need to do. But the young people, the children, and the one thing that we have to embrace is the joy of being a child and being able to be a little bit cut loose and
be naughty a bit.
but
disciplined. Absolutely.
And respectful. That's the key thing.
Yes.
To themselves and to others. That's the key thing.
Yeah. And just two more questions. For those who feel they're not fit or strong enough for karate, what would you say? And can anyone do martial arts at any level? Is it for everybody?
Karate can we adapt it to, if people have disabilities of any sort, we adapt it for them. I don't feel that anyone can say they can't do something that they haven't tried. You kind of answered a question that hasn't been asked yet. So give it a go. If you've got any kind of disability or health issue that we should need to be aware of, let us know. Let's see what we can do, than feeling that it's impossible. Martial arts is for everybody. It is a martial art, it is a form of exercise, but it is also a way of life. There are things that you will do that you walk away and you will react differently because of the experience that you've had with training. So don't feel that you need to take that away from yourselves without giving yourself the opportunity to experience. Not for me, and it's not for everybody. It can be, it's not for everybody. But I would say that don't answer a question without
trying. And I guess I'm a living example because I started now. Even though I wanted to when I was little, but that wasn't possible for me. Still a lot to go, but I'm practicing with my son as well. I've hurt my knee, so I need to work on that. But I think it is important for anyone at any age to know that it is for everybody, that they can start. And I think it's lovely how you shared and given people a bit of a snapshot, as in it's a positive, supportive environment. There's that sort of family, community connection. There's everyone wants you to do well. There's that that positivity, and I think that really, when I listen to you, it makes me feel like this is a nice place to go. This is a nice space to be able to take that step, because for some people it's not easy, especially when you're an adult, to take that step.
I think brands like this, they're very brave, because you have to be prepared to be exposed to learning. And we are all trying to change the way you move your hips or your knees, and it's all very new. But
Yes.
Earlier, that what happens when you get on the other side of trying is something really special. So I would never give it a go. We're here to support you. We're always here to help you, and we have fun. Yeah, it might have fun through a lot of sweat, but yeah, we have fun.
Absolutely. Learn a new experience, a new challenge, and that can make such a positive difference in our lives. I just want to say, Jay, how can people reach you if anyone's interested, or if they wanted to find out a little bit more? What would you like to say?
So you can reach us on our Instagram page, _meet_lifestyle Instagram, or you can drop me a message on my email address or give me a phone call. And my number is 07507 794 827.
Thank you, Jay, for sharing your incredible insights. It's been inspiring to see how fitness, mental health, and even spirituality can connect in such meaningful ways. And for our listeners, remember our bodies are a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and caring for our bodies, self-care is an important part of our worship. Whether it's through martial arts, a daily walk, or even mindful breathing, every step you take to care for yourself counts. And I just want to let you all know that if you did want to look into counselling, or you wanted to have some conversations around mental health, you can contact us at Sakoon, www.sakoon.co.uk, and book an appointment directly on the website. And we also have a MuslimMoodFit app. It's a research-based app shown to be effective in improving mental health. It's easy to use, and it can be customized to fit your individual needs. We explore mood, breathing. There's many features, help you to manage anxiety, depression, looking at breathing techniques. There's talks on there. So please do have a look at it and check it out. Until next time, stay mindful and stay well. Assalamu alaikum. Goodbye.